welcome to today's webinar, 5 Proven Strategies to Optimize Delivery During a Crisis. A quick thanks to John from MarketMan and Kelsey from Lightspeed for making this possible. Really excited to have everybody on the phone today. Looking forward to going through and learning some new exciting topics. So on today's webinar, we're going to learn, 1, how to successfully pivot to delivery for our restaurant businesses. 2, the key success strategies used by established restaurateurs to successfully pivot to delivery. 3, how you can overcome and adapt during these times of adversity by leveraging technology. And 4, what are the different resources that you can utilize to immediately support and relieve your business that might not be doing as well as it was last month at this time. So really happy to have a friend and colleague on the line today, Evan Johnston from Lightspeed. Evan is a sales engineer at Lightspeed, specializing in restaurant POS and Lightspeed retail. Evan, thanks so much for joining today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt. I run sales and new business here at MarketMan, restaurant inventory management platform. And we're partnering today with Lightspeed to go over the different strategies of how to optimize delivery during a crisis and beyond. So, Evan, I wanted to ask you the first set of questions today. Obviously, being the industry expert on delivery, especially during these times, if you could tell us just a little bit more about the best practices of how to optimize delivery and maybe just offer training to staff members that haven't been using online ordering in the past.
Of course. First of all, thanks so much for having me. I think this is a really important conversation to be having right now. Let's start off with exactly what you said, offering training and resources to your staff. There's a few things that we want to think about. If you're starting delivery for the first time, maybe it's something that you haven't thought of, or maybe it's something that may not have been necessary before now. We want to make sure that your staff is trained up properly. We want to make sure that things flow as easily as possible for you. So a couple things to note before I get into these points as well. There's a couple ideas that people have been floating around about just how to make sure that your staff are safe and trained up during this time as well. So from things such as printing out sanitation guides, important phone numbers in the back of house, even offering regular training sessions for safety based on the new news that's coming out during this time. That's really important stuff, I think, in general for everybody to be thinking about right now. When we get into branching out into delivery, there's a few more specific things that we can talk about. So one is, getting connected to your desired delivery channels, right? If you have got multiple channels, Uber Eats and DoorDash, et cetera, that you're going to be running delivery through, how do we get your staff trained on, perhaps the intricacies of these different channels? So if we're talking about an integrated system, the training actually becomes a lot easier. It's all coming from one source. We've got the ability to work with multiple locations as well. So making sure that your staff are trained in each location. If you've got a multi-restaurant setup, maybe things work a little bit differently in each location. So making sure that staff are as equally as trained in your main location as any others. And making sure that your staff are aware of support resources. So whether that's for your POS itself or for any of these delivery channels or the integrated delivery. Also just making sure that setup time is as easy as possible, right? If you're just going to be getting into delivery, want to make sure that it isn't going to be an extra ordeal. Things are already a little harder than they used to be right now. So making sure that any kind of setup with any new workflows are really quick. So, a setup time of 3 to 5 days, it should do the trick.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Evan. Really insightful. I really agree with basically summarizing it in 2 points. I think it's just support and communication, and that's with the restaurant operator and with Lightspeed, or with any of their delivery channels and with their customers. So I really like pointing special attention to safety training sessions and those types of resources, because I know consumers might have some trepidations about mobile ordering in that regard. Now, moving on to the next line of questioning, as a little bit of a marketer myself, I'm definitely familiar with SEO, but not delivery SEO. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, of course. So just to give some context here, SEO stands for search engine optimization. So what are we talking about when we're talking about delivery SEO? And I think a good example is if I, as a customer, I'm looking to do a delivery order, I'm here in Montreal, and I search on Google burgers for delivery in Montreal. What are the factors that are going to bring your restaurant, if you're selling burgers, to the top of that list? So search engine optimization is bringing you to the top, closer to the top of search results. And so there are a lot of factors that these delivery channels use in order to rank you higher on their own platforms, and thus bringing you higher in search engine results. So a few of those points here are the time that it takes from an order to be placed by a customer and the ticket to be printed in your location. The second point here is the percentage of accepted orders, right? So how many orders have been accepted at this location, and not necessarily just printed, but even just accepted. The other factor that they're looking for is errors. So if an order is placed by a customer and perhaps you don't have an integrated system, you're copying or duplicating that order. If there's an error there and a customer has to report back that there was an error and needs a refund, that's going to lower your rankings. Also, time to delivery. So they're going to calculate the entire time that it takes between an order being placed by the customer and the time that that product or service is delivered. So all of these kind of come into play when talking about your SEO. So if you want to increase all of these metrics here, we're looking at just making sure that you've got an integrated system that is able to reduce errors and make things go a little quicker.
That's great. Evan, it's so interesting to me because I've spent my entire career in hospitality technology, and today was the first time I've ever even been introduced to the concept of delivery SEO. So I guess you learn something new every day. But, I would have made a mistake with delivery SEO, but what types of other mistakes would people commonly make with digital ordering that you might be able to tell us about?
Yeah, for sure. So, we were talking about SEO and speeding things up and reducing errors, minimizing mistakes. So there's a few things to consider. First of all is an integrated system, making sure that everything is going through your POS and out to your kitchen, through one system. A couple things to consider though, if you perhaps are using these delivery channels, and you're not integrated, you've probably got 3 or 4 or more tablets, one for each of those channels. And so that can become really confusing. You'll get a notification on one tablet, and you'll have to go over there and regardless of what you're doing, kind of address each tablet as it comes. So if we're talking about streamlining things and getting things integrated, reducing the amount of unnecessary tablets, essentially unifying technology. The second point here is your orders, syncing and auto printing. So once again, I'll refer back to a scenario where maybe you're using these delivery channels already with your multiple tablets. They're all going to be going through, some of them even have their own printers. So some folks have got 3 or 4 printers, each one from a different channel that are sending orders. So looking back at my previous slide there when we're talking about making sure you're increasing your rankings, if you've got orders that are syncing through your POS and auto printing, then you're going to be getting a lot quicker results and a lot less errors. The third point here is making sure your chits are uniform. So like I said, some of these delivery channels will provide their own printers. They'll print off, in maybe formats that your kitchen staff aren't familiar with. If you've got a system that is able to have all chits uniform exactly like they're used to, regardless of whether it's coming from delivery or takeout or what they were used to, maybe if they were running table service before, a couple months ago, making sure that they're all uniform is going to be great for your kitchen staff. And also kind of relating it back to mistakes. If you're taking orders from any of these, separate tablets or separate printers, you're duplicating those orders, maybe re-entering them in the POS, maybe writing it down and sending it to the kitchen. every time you are doing that, you run the risk of human error, and that's just a fact. As careful as you're going to be, you're probably going to run into errors if you're duplicating. So making sure that everything is going through, unifying all that technology, minimizing errors is going to help you out a lot to speed up the process and help you climb those rankings.
Perfect. So to me, the key takeaway is just unify all the technology, make sure it's as standard and uniform as possible, and automate as much as you can. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And so all this information is coming in, right? So you've got your orders coming in, everything is unified as possible coming into the system. But now you've got a lot of data maybe that you're not necessarily used to, right? Depending on how you used to look at reports and manage inventory before delivery, a lot of new things are going to be coming up. And so maybe I'll turn this point over to you, Matt. You know, one of the reasons that Lightspeed is really happy to work with MarketMan is that MarketMan offers a really robust inventory management system. So maybe you could explain a little bit how to use all that incoming data to adjust things like menu and pricing inventory.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Evan. You know, we've been talking a lot about front of house technology, mobile ordering, point of sale, and all those inputs, but eventually there's an output in the back of the house. And the back of the house might not be as glamorous, but it's just as important, right? So I think that the info on this slide is exactly that. That's the advice. Use your data to adjust your menu, adjust your pricing, and influence inventory. As businesses are pivoting to takeaway and delivery and mobile ordering, this information becomes more and more important. We need to be looking at the right numbers. Costs are going to fluctuate. Food costs might go up. Labor costs are different now that we're not focusing primarily on dine-in business, but rather on takeaway business. So we need to be looking not only at the point of sale reports, not only on the mobile order reports, but how much money we're spending, which items are being purchased on a day-to-day basis. Two, the cost of goods sold, right? And that's a report that you'll be able to get in any good inventory control software, basically pulling in the total sales from Lightspeed and understanding what you've purchased from each and every one of your vendors to give you a high-level overview of your profit margin, right? Are we doing as well as we think we are? And three, and I really can't stress this enough, keep track of your waste, right? It's easy to get lost in the shuffle, trying to keep your doors open, get all of those mobile orders out the door as quickly as humanly possible. But items that you might have prepped in the morning, products that might not be selling as well as they used to, that are sitting on the shelf for a little bit longer, that are now spoiling or becoming expired, we want to be very cognizant of that waste and keep track of it so we can understand what we need to reorder, what we need to adjust in terms of our PARs. And four, optimize your menu items. The items that sell really well in store might not sell as well as delivery items. Different items might rise to the forefront as your superstars, as the most popularly ordered items. But are they as profitable as they once were now that you're giving, delivery items as well, plastic bags, containers, forks, knives, things like that. So we're going to want to keep a close, watchful eye over our total plated costs, including those delivery items as well. And I think that kind of bringing this all together, the point of this conversation today is to build your technology Avengers, right? Best of class solutions in each and every area. Lightspeed for point of sale and mobile ordering, MarketMan for back of house activity. We're talking about ordering, point of sale, inventory, procurement, invoicing, seemingly a bunch of disjointed tech systems, but really they all exist together, kind of holding hands through this technological ecosystem. And that's how MarketMan and Lightspeed work together. If you place a mobile order for a hamburger, MarketMan is going to be notified about that from Lightspeed. So your inventory will be depleted accordingly and remove the right number of slices of American cheese, the right portion of ground beef, the right quantity of pickles, right? So that you're made aware of what you're running low on, when it's time to place a new order, and all of the systems can kind of exist in harmony together. So, we've been talking a little bit about best practices and tips and tricks and little quick hacks of how to optimize mobile ordering in your business during these times. But let's introduce kind of the systems that are helping you do it. First being MarketMan, back of house, inventory, and restaurant automation. You're going to use the mobile app and the online software to take inventory counts, to track recipes, to scan invoices and reconcile your deliveries as they're coming in. And of course, a lot of this reporting that we were alluding to, your COGS reports, your variance reports, your profitability reports, all available at your fingertips so that you can hopefully save as much time and save as much money as humanly possible during these times where automation becomes key. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of an offer that we're putting out there right now during the COVID-19 response campaign. And that's one for our existing customers. We want to make this as easy as possible for you. So of course, we're going against the contract and we're reducing prices as drastically as we possibly can to keep everyone's business. And two, for new users that might want to get ahead of the curves and use this downtime productively. There are no setup fees, there are no integration fees, and you can have free access to the system for 2 months so that you can implement best practices for food costing, for inventory, for reporting, and come out on the other side of this mess better because of it. And I know that Lightspeed is doing just as well, if not better, in terms of their offer. So Evan, I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, for sure. So just to give some people some context, if you haven't heard of Lightspeed before, or a restaurant POS. And so whether it's full service restaurant, quick service, ghost kitchen, you know, especially as we're in this time right now where delivery is becoming more and more important, you know, the ability to service your customers regardless of having a physical location, I think is really important. So Lightspeed POS, it gives you advanced menu management. This is also really important for delivery if you've got different menus that maybe you're going to be doing on different days or at different times. For anybody with full service restaurant, we've got custom floor plans so you can move tables around as you choose live on the floor. Multiple location management. So whether you've got one location or 2, 3, or multiples of that, you can manage all your locations and get an overview of how things are going in each one of your shops. We've got secure payment processing that we offer as well. And 24/7 support, I think, is really important right now. You know, whether it's something with your POS, if you've got any questions, or specifically about Lightspeed delivery, you know, any troubleshooting and support that we can offer, we do it 24/7. So you can give us a call anytime and you'll be able to talk to somebody on the phone about it. And then staff performance tracking as well. So, you know, whether it's in the restaurant itself or seeing who's doing what and, you know, kind of accepting which delivery orders, you can use those metrics and track your staff performance. The offer that we've got something that we put together for COVID-19 response as well. This is for existing Lightspeed customers who are using Lightspeed restaurant POS. Lightspeed delivery free for 3 months, no setup fee at all. So when we're talking about setting this up, if you've already got Lightspeed restaurant as your POS, it takes about 3 to 5 days to get things going with delivery. We get you set up with all your desired delivery channels, you know, unlimited support as well. And this is going to allow you to really quickly pivot to delivery. You know, like I said, you can contact us anytime for support. You know, we can help you get those metrics to increase your SEO and basically just maybe transform a restaurant that hasn't done delivery in the past at all to be able to service their customers still. If you don't already have Lightspeed POS, it's a little bit longer of a setup. We want to make sure that we get your restaurant set up first, and then we can get into delivery and set it up from there. But for right now, 3 months free for delivery, just to make sure you can get set up and ready to go.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Evan. I really appreciate you participating in today's conversation. I hope the audience learned as much as I did. So really appreciate you joining today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course, of course. And for our audience of listeners out there, you know, we really hope that you enjoyed what you learned today. And if you're interested in any similar discussion, feel free to reach out directly to MarketMan, reach out directly to Lightspeed. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to both myself and Evan directly. But with this recording today, you'll get contact information, landing pages, and resources where you can learn all of these helpful tips and tricks in more detail. So thanks so much, guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.